Hey everyone, this is Morgan Gill with Kinetic. Thanks so much for joining our call today. Today is August 23rd, and I'm just going to go over some just kind of general refreshers over the application, mainly based on your questions that you've sent me. So the first one that I wanted to kind of hit home is tasks. And if you haven't noticed it already, but tasks have been updated significantly, and actually within an opportunity. Some of the best practices that I've seen kind of across the board is if you go to tasks within a new opportunity, some of our partners are kind of creating this general to-do list. So I've created a task, maybe at the end I'll just kind of caps it and call it to do. Then I'll have a quick description just to say this is our team to-do list, and then I can actually create subtasks within our main kind of to-do list. This keeps everybody organized, especially if you guys look at kind of your overall tasks across all opportunities and projects, which I'll show you in a second. But just a reminder, in order to create subtasks, you just click the subtask button at the top. So maybe on this one, we need to finalize our quote. I can set a due date. Let's just say it needs to be done by Friday. And right now, these subtasks aren't assigned to anybody. But if I wanted to assign them, I can just go ahead and single click this little person icon, and I can either assign it to myself or maybe a coworker. So just for today, I'll assign it to myself. And then my initial pops up. What you notice over here on the left is before I just had my to-do list because I was assigned to this at the overall to-do section. And then next, the one that just popped up was the subtask that I just assigned to myself. So if you guys just watch again, and if I were to assign it to myself one more time, I'll now have this subtask that just popped up here. If I wanted to pull through comments on each of these tasks, now I will get automatic email notifications on this. So maybe let's just say like confirmed presentation. Maybe if I could spell today. Sorry about that. My fingers are ahead of my brain here. And if I just press enter, then it automatically captures what I obviously posted myself, since I'm the one that posted it, and then the date. I can also click here for more details, and it just says Morgan said blah, blah with this information. So if I wanted to close out any subtasks that have been completed, I can just hit this little checkbox. But again, this is a really nice way to keep everybody on your team organized, assign everybody the appropriate task to get items done. But of course, I can see all my tasks across all my opportunities and projects on the far left. For those of you that just joined the call, I'm really kind of showcasing how to really utilize the task portion to the best of your ability, and also what I've seen kind of as best practices. And just to kind of recap, it's basically creating kind of overall to-do list, assigning that to everybody on your internal team, and then creating subtasks and assigning those in particular to whoever needs to get that completed. If you just notice, I did a quick search for the overall to-do, so I can kind of see all of my to-do lists, and then of course with each of them with subtasks under them. One more thing I want to point out is you can change the priority level, so from high to low. So right now it's set to high, but maybe I want to change it to low. I can just single click and now it's green. And then if I wanted to change it back to high, I can then just double click. That medium one, the gray one, is a medium priority level. So those are the overall tasks here.
Mind if I just chime in on one thing? Yeah,
go for it.
One thing that I like that the way it works right now is the tasks will also change colors on the calendar based on that priority thing. So right now with it being red, that one will show up red on the calendar, or I guess orange. Green are the low priority, and then gray will be the medium.
That's a perfect point. I don't know if you guys heard John, but what he was just saying is that, you know, in the old task, we did keep this as it is color coded. So low is green, medium is gray, and then high priorities are obviously red. We spent a lot of time here just making this pretty user friendly. So you can add tasks directly in the task overview, whether you were looking at it at a list or how I just showed you at the calendar. I'm just going to go back and kind of search for my to-do just so I could see kind of all of my opportunities and projects. If it is a project, in case you haven't noticed, you could actually directly add schedule items by utilizing the little wrench here. And if I just click that, I can immediately pull through my title and description and add my specific project schedule items from the task piece. So that's just one area that I wanted to cover on the task. If you guys have any questions, please go ahead and type them into the comment box, and I'll be sure to look at that. But the next one that I always have questions on is the actual schedule part. So if I jump into a project, so here's our Gantt graph, and I know a lot of you guys are familiar with this, but I wanted to kind of hit home how easy it is to use. This was one section that I know when we released it.
Sharing your screen. I'm just not getting all
Oh, sorry about that. Here we go. Here's my screen. Sorry about that. So first thing that I like to show on the Gantt graph is that you can actually change your views from days to months. So it defaults to days, and that can get a little bit too much to look at. So if I look at months, the next thing that I've noticed, especially when creating and playing with the Gantt graph, is it's actually easier for you just to go ahead and delete your dependencies as you kind of work around different dates and items that you need to change. How you can delete dependencies is just double click on the orange, and then you get this little pop-up double checking that it's okay to delete the dependency. You can say okay. So from here, if I needed to change my date, maybe order entries out here, field dims is over here, pre-order entries maybe a little bit closer, I can do that. And then of course I can redraw my dependencies. So let's say that maybe within this phase, we wanted to actually track our wall install versus our millwork install. Maybe this was a pretty intricate project that we wanted just to have kind of two sub sections within the Gantt graph. So if I double click on this pre-order entry, and I'm just going to change it right now to just say phase 1, maybe millwork. So I'm just going to leave my dates here. Then now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this a parent. So under this phase 1 millwork, I will have all the associated important milestone items that I need to add. So what I can do is right next to there, I have this little plus button. So if I click this plus, now I have a notification from the application saying, hey, this is now a parent task. So now I can actually title it and saying, okay, let's call this maybe the millwork onsite date. And maybe this isn't going to happen until the 7th. I'm just going to copy and paste the start and the required by date. Since it is onsite, I am going to pull through that it's an onsite date, and I'm going to say that it's a milestone. So when I do that now, right next to millwork, we have our millwork onsite date. And if you notice, the millwork onsite date is indented from our millwork phase 1 folder. So again, what this is kind of doing is that's linking all of these items together. So if I just wanted to see the phase 1 millwork duration, I can collapse any sub items that are under there. But of course, if I wanted to add on-site dates or any additional details, I can. So just again to show you, maybe let's track the millwork install. This will start on the 7th, and maybe let's just say it'll end on the 9th. Because it is an install date, I'm going to capture it as install. And I'm just going to save that. So it's all right now dependent and all sitting under the millwork phase 1. I'm just going to delete these dependencies here. And I'm going to show you something really fast. Because my millwork phase 1 right now is ending 9/4, so I can actually kind of link these back to the start if I needed to. But again, this is a good way just to kind of capture everything that sits under phase 1 millwork. I, of course, can move this out if I needed to. One other thing to note too, guys, is that each of these sections you can actually draw out the progress. So for phase 1 millwork, let's just say that it's, halfway done. If I take my cursor, there's this little pyramid, and I can actually drag and drop it over to the percentage of completion it is. Remember to delete items if you needed to delete them, is just this little X. But again, please feel free to ask us if you have any questions specifically on the Gantt graph. So now what I'm going to do really fast is go over the quick opportunity create, because this is an easy and very quick way to add any opportunities. This is also, it's been released for about a year now, but I'm still seeing users that are forgetting it. And like I said, it's super easy. So if I do quick opportunity create, let's say that I have an opportunity maybe with Texas A&M. So if I like to abbreviate the end users, I'm just going to say Texas A&M University, but an abbreviation there. Maybe this is the new law school. And then under the client and lead, I can actually start typing out Texas A&M and it'll populate. If I did not have the client or lead here, so maybe it's with University of Texas, I will get the no results found, click to create new lead. I can click that and I can actually create the first main headquarter location along with the opportunity simultaneously. But for today, I'm just going to leave it as Texas A&M. Next, I can select my award date, my order date, and then the win likelihood. I will point out if I have any salespeople on the call, right now, these are the only 2 required fields, so I can save and close. I didn't even have to fill out this additional information. Obviously, the more information you fill out, I think the better it is to help out your team. But we intentionally made the required fields very little and pretty easy to fill out. I can select my opportunity owner, lead designer, and lead PM, but this is our latest and greatest thing I want to point out is you can throw out your expected total cost and total sell. So if this job isn't going to book until 2020, and you know that maybe it's going to be a $100,000 job with maybe a $200,000 sell, you can throw that out and it'll automatically add it to your forecast. So I'll show you what I mean. So if I just do save and close, and I jump to my forecast, you'll see Texas A&M Law School building with our cost and our sell, our GP and our GPM. So I don't have to go and create an opportunity, then create a quote, call it forecast. I can just immediately throw it out on there, which is really helpful. So we reviewed tasks, we reviewed so quick opportunity create and the forecast. One other thing I do want to point out just before we wrap up, and again, if you have any questions, please feel free to type them in and we can see them come through. But under the My Company here, so I just need to refresh my page. Again, my internet has been a little wonky, my apologies. But I just wanted to show that you can actually see all your design hours across all opportunities and projects now under My Company. We have another update coming out on the 27th, so please be on the lookout for not only a kinetic sprint, but we'll also be hosting another just a quick update for everybody to see everything kind of that was recently implemented. Well, I was trying to navigate, sorry, I'm just going to go ahead and, oh, here we go. So now if I look under My Company and I go under design time, I can actually see all of my design time, both projects and opportunities, along with the lead designer. You do have different search capabilities here. So if I wanted to see maybe design dates, I can put in either by week or by month. Maybe I wanted to see it by the lead designer. So if I just type in the lead designer, I can just see the items that Monique was working on versus the items that Morgan was working on. So that about wraps it up. Like I said, we have another update coming out on Sunday. Please be on the lookout for that. This session, along with all of our previous sessions that have been recorded, are posted on our YouTube page. Thank you for your time today. And yeah, like I said, let us know if you have any other questions, and feel free to contact myself or John Lamb. Our emails are morgan.gill@kineticcloud.com, and then john.lamb@kineticcloud.com. Thank you.